Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so excited you're joining me for this explainer today because we are diving into something that is literally everywhere right now: artificial intelligence in finance. We're going to take a super practical, no nonsense look at this, leaning on some amazing insights from tech and supercomputing expert Pep Martorell. Our goal today? Simple. We are going to cut right through the hype and look at the actual business reality. Let's get right to it and see how this tech is genuinely reshaping the financial world. But before we get too deep, I want to throw a question your way. Are we using AI in finance to make better decisions or just to go faster? Think about that for a second. It's a huge question, and it really frames everything we're going to talk about today. Look, everyone wants AI to be this magic wand that just spits out brilliant market predictions. But we really need to look at what AI is actually doing for us right now versus what we just kind of wish it did. So, here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, we'll look at AI impact, magic versus reality. Second, why AI projects fail. Third, the radiologist paradox. Fourth, some success and failure cases. Fifth, regulation and shadow AI. And finally, number 6, some advice for the future. All right, let's jump right into section 1, AI impact, magic versus reality. Right out of the gate, we need to bust a major myth. We've got to let go of this idea that AI is just some magical plug-and-play software. You literally cannot just buy 2,000 licenses for your team, hit install, and watch the profits roll in. It doesn't work like that. We have to fundamentally change how we think about our digital tools, because AI is what we call stochastic or non-deterministic. Think about a regular old ink pen. You click the top, the ink tip comes out. You click it 100 times, the exact same thing happens every single time, right? That's deterministic. AI is totally different. It's a statistical interpolator, meaning if you give an AI the exact same input or prompt, you might get completely different outputs. This is actually the very first non-deterministic technology we've ever had to use in our daily business lives. Getting your head around this is absolutely crucial to understanding why AI sometimes hallucinates, or why it gives answers that feel so weirdly human. So, if it's non-deterministic, we really need to know what we're actually trying to achieve with it. Generally speaking, AI delivers 3 distinct impacts. 1, it can improve decision-making. 2, it can accelerate or automate processes. And 3, it can massively boost personal productivity. Now, right now in finance, we are absolutely crushing it with numbers 2 and 3. Customer service chatbots, heavy document processing, that stuff is actively being automated as we speak. But true, reliable, high-stakes decision-making, well, that part is still playing catch-up. Which brings us to section 2, why AI projects fail. Time for a bit of a reality check. If AI is so amazing at automating things, why are so many financial institutions completely struggling to use it? A lot of the time, these projects just stall out in what we call pilot purgatory, and they literally never make it to production. There's this famous MIT report, you might have seen it clickbaited as the 95% failure rate report, and it hits the nail right on the head. Companies that fail are just treating AI like a basic tech upgrade. But the winners, they realize you have to totally rethink your processes and your people. It takes realistic timeframes. It's not a 3-month magic fix. It demands super strict data governance. You have to manage unofficial shadow AI that employees are secretly using. And here's a big one. Projects constantly fail because companies chase these flashy front office marketing gimmicks, and they completely ignore the massive, incredibly easy wins just sitting there in back office operations like accounting or HR. At the end of the day, failure isn't a tech problem, it's a people and process problem. Moving on to section 3, the radiologist paradox. So how exactly do we fix this people and process problem? Well, there's this fascinating concept called the radiologist paradox, and it brilliantly explains how we should be pairing up humans and AI, especially in high-stakes fields like finance or engineering, where mistakes are just not an option. For years, everybody was panicking, saying AI was going to replace human radiologists, but guess what? It hasn't. And here is why. Their error profiles are completely perpendicular. See, humans fail when we have to scale massive amounts of data. We just get tired. AI, on the other hand, fails at strict deterministic math and nuanced contextual judgment. But when you put them together, the human acts as a guardrail against the AI's hallucinations, and the AI brings this vast, lightning-fast pattern recognition to the table. Because their errors are perpendicular, they actually cancel each other out. This synergy gives you the lowest possible overall error rate and the absolute highest speed. It's really incredible. Let's check out section 4, success and failure cases. Let's actually look at how this synergy, or the lack of it, plays out in the real world. Think about the number 1,000. For one particular venture capital firm, this number represents a massive leap in productivity. Before AI, their human analysts could maybe slug through 200 to 300 startup pitches a year. But now, they've brought in an artificial intelligence analyst. A startup just emails a PDF of their business plan, and literally 8 minutes later, the AI spits out a detailed, highly accurate analysis. That firm can now effortlessly process 1,000 pitches. They never miss a hidden gem, and the human analysts get to step in for the really nuanced, high-level second-round interviews. It's the absolute perfect synergy. Now, compare that huge win with a massive flop from the banking world. A bank tried to use AI to automate the execution of inheritances, also known as testamentarias. But here's where they messed up. Instead of letting the AI do what it does best, finding probabilistic patterns in thousands of successful past cases, the bank tried to force the AI into these rigid, old-school if-then decision trees. If this happens, then do that. Well, inheritance cases are packed with endless legal nuances, right? So that decision tree just exploded into a million unmanageable branches, and it totally ruined the AI's ability to scale. They tried to treat a probabilistic stochastic tool like a standard deterministic calculator. And of course, the whole project just hit a brick wall.
All right, that brings us to Section 5, Regulation and Shadow AI.
So we've seen what happens when companies just don't understand the tech. But what happens when it goes totally unmanaged? We really need to talk about guardrails here. I have to share this crazy story with you to show just how fast things can spiral out of control. There was an Argentinian researcher who published an article, and they made a tiny, simple typo in a name. Well, because people out there are just using OpenAI models indiscriminately for everything, which is what we call shadow AI, that little typo got scraped up by the system. Literally 3 days later, someone searching for that fake name found that the AI had generated an entire, incredibly robust scientific resume for a person who absolutely did not exist. No way, right? It's wild. But it brilliantly shows why letting your employees use unmanaged shadow AI with internal company data is such a massive risk. Honestly, data permissions are everything. And this exact kind of chaos is why regulation is stepping in, specifically the EU AI Act. Now, I know a lot of people immediately panic and say, oh, regulation is going to kill innovation. But that's just not true here. The EU is regulating the application of the AI, not the underlying tech itself. So if a bank is using AI for something high risk, like credit scoring, they just need to do some proactive auto-certification. The whole thing fully kicks in by December 2027, so companies actually have plenty of time to get ready. At the end of the day, this is just a framework to protect citizens' rights. It is not some huge barrier to building amazing financial tech. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 6, Advice for the Future. We've covered the tech, the epic fails, the massive successes, and even the new laws. But let's bring all of this right down to you and your career. There's a saying, the paradigm changes from having an indefinite contract to being indefinitely employable. Honestly, that is some of the most powerful career advice you will ever hear. In the age of AI, you cannot just be that one specialist who knows how to click the buttons on a cool new tool. You've got to understand the whole picture, the 360-degree integration of the technology, the data governance, and that human-AI synergy we talked about. Your goal isn't just finding a safe job anymore. Your goal is to get so good at solving actual business problems that your skills make you indefinitely employable, no matter what crazy new tech comes out next. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to chew on as we finish up this explainer. Are you focusing all your efforts on just playing around with the shiny new technology, or are you actively mastering the processes and human AI synergies that are actually required to remain indefinitely employable? Take a second and really think about how you're upskilling yourself right now. It's a game changer. I really hope this breakdown helped clarify exactly where the world of finance is heading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Keep learning, and I will catch you on the next one.